Hi and welcome everyone to the pre-race show for AOSC 10. It is the pre-race show for round number 10 coming to you from Germany and Hockenheim. Can't wait to have a look at that track here tonight. But of course, big shout out to our sponsors, of course, Jinx Shifters, AJ Insurance Services, Simrigs.com, Sydney Computers, Bowler Media and Sideways Photography, Race Art Australia and Track Cams for Gourmets. And if you haven't already, make sure you go to the YouTube channel, AOSC TV, like and subscribe. But joining me back in the box, the usual suspects, of course, Daniel Leet and Matthew Norris. Welcome, guys.
G'day.
Howdy.
And tonight we've got someone joining us like we have for the last couple of weeks here, and this driver has done 102 races in AOSC, got a couple of wins back in season 4, so it's been a few seasons of a dry spell there for the wins. 5 podiums all up and the best qualifying position of a 4th place. Thomas Hinss, welcome to the show, mate.
Hey guys, I think I might actually remember where that 4th was. I think it was Phillip Island, again, way back in the day, when I guess I was semi-decent and managed to get qualies out every now and then, I suppose. I think that was roughly when it was, and then the race went terribly. But good to be here.
Mate, it's been a bit of your Achilles heel, really, hasn't it, really qualifying this season? But in race, you've been really pacey.
Yeah, well, it's usually always been the case. I think because I don't really practice quali too much, I'm more focused on race trim, and usually a lot of my practice ends up being the race half the time, depending on how busy I've been with work and everything. So, it's always just been the case. My race pace is good, but never the quali. Every now and then I pull it out. Every now and then in Scops, I've done it here in AOSC as well. I've pulled out a good quali, and then that's been really helpful and made the race a lot easier. It's weird though when you actually qualify well. Hopefully this week at Hockenheim, maybe I can pull one out again. That'd be nice.
Well, we spoke a little bit about results earlier. Let's go and check them out from round number 9 from Sebring. Race 184. Let's see how they ended up. Your top 10 were James Scott, of course, up the top there once again. Corey Shepherd coming runner-up again this week in the podium in number 2. Adam Briggs got the bronze in 3rd position. 4th place was Kyle Stokes. Bailey Fridd ended up 5th in a great race. Damien Johnson in 6th. Bradley Vaughan in 7th. Christian Smart in 8th. Thomas Hinss back in 9th, and Neil Pearson rounded out our top 10. Dan, a lot to go through in this one. What are some of your takeouts?
Yeah, it was really good racing right up and down throughout the field. Obviously, the top 2 really sort of skipped away early on, and as we saw at the end, 1.6 seconds covering those 2. But throughout the field, I mean, there's some really good qualifying. Well, maybe not some of the best qualifying results. Look at Brad Vaughan, qualified 14th, got the car home in 7th, so managed to come through the field quite nicely. And another driver who did a really strong job out there, Greg Sharp, qualified down in 26th position, brought the car home in 15th. So really good result for him. As we'll touch on a little bit later on, we saw some outstanding driving out there to last night.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad race pace from you there again, Thomas. So you were back in 13th from memory in qualifying.
Yeah. I think that was okay from memory. As I said, I think this was on at the same time as Scops was on the Sunday. I hadn't really done too many laps before this round, so this is kind of my practice for Scops. So I wasn't expecting miracles, but it was all right. It was enough to be clear of most of the mayhem in midfield. So and then work forward from there. But still got kind of caught in some battles. I think I was battling Hobbo for a while there until he had his instant. Managed to see him play on goal, which is interesting. But yeah, it was still a lot of fun and good to sneak into the top 10. Always good to get a top 10 is a good aim for me.
And Norrie, Brian Borg was another one just really challenged at qualifying in this round.
Yeah, sometimes a racetrack just doesn't suit a race driver. It's me, it's Watkins Glen, Brian Borg, it seems to be Sebring. And it just didn't go his way and wasn't great. Another talking point from this round, no safety car.
No safety car. We didn't win a bet.
You didn't. I said it wasn't going to happen.
Oh, that just took our cash this week. Dan, what are we going to do about this?
Well, look, he had to win something. He didn't win at Watkins. He had to win some money somewhere along the way. So good on him. But, I mean, obviously, maybe we'll get one back this week. So maybe it's a double or nothing bet for him.
Plenty of other things going on down in the field, though, and I'm going to start down the bottom, talk about a couple of these. We're talking 30th and 31st, Jordan Ross and Dylan Rudd. Now, they lost power throughout the race towards the end.
Yeah, really unfortunate for those guys. I mean, especially for Jordan had a fantastic qualifying, started fourth on the grid. He was looking really good contention, and unfortunately that power drop scuttled what was going to be a great run for him.
Yeah, a couple of others if we look through there. Rob Bowden sort of middle of the pack. Borgie got himself back up to 16th, which is good. Tom Freer ended up down in 14th. Now, he qualified quite a bit higher in the top 10 from memory. So, surprised to see him. A lot of incidents there. Andrew Dyson got involved, unfortunately. Unfortunately, ran into another car. It was not really his fault, just a car spinning around in front of him. A lot of damage sustained to that car. And Norrie, he didn't finish the race either.
No, there was quite a few incidents up and down the field, which is why there were no safety car was such a big thing. It was, I mean, Sebring, yeah, it's a long circuit to get around, and it was a short race, but there was still quite a few incidents. Hobson, Dyson, Tom Free got turned right at the end there, so there was so many incidents that you alluded to.
And Thomas, how hard was it to stay out of an incident during the race? Because there was a lot of people, the different conditions, concrete, bitumen, back to concrete. How hard was it to stay out of trouble?
A little bit, yeah. As I said, I think I was fighting Hobbo for a lot of it before we had his incident, and he's always pushes you right to the edge. Always good fun to battle because he's not going to go over the limit, but he'll always be hard fought every time you battle him. So I was battling him. I think Johnstone at one point there, and I know Freer was in there, and I think he might have got damaged somewhere, and that's why he dropped back. I don't remember. He might have possibly been sort of involved with the incident that got Hobbo out potentially. But yeah, it's always difficult, just really any track, not even just Sebring, just any track in the field, because everyone's looking to have a bit of a sense, end up inside, and that sort of bottles everyone up, and other people get involved. It's always a bit difficult to sort of keep clear, but I managed to this time, thank goodness. So hopefully I can do that again, Hockenheim, or qualify well. That works too. Well,
that gets you out of a bit of trouble if you get further up. Another one I need to point out, Michael Teleantis, he was a bit of a yo-yo, guys. He actually, from memory, was probably 14th or 15th in qualifying. So ended up in 20th, and he went up and down the field quite a bit as well. So, yeah, lots happening sort of in that sort of from P10 back. Lots of people going up and down the field as things happen. Jamie Dyke got involved in a couple of incidents as well. So unfortunate round for some, but fortunate for others. Well, it is fortunate because a couple of people in the series standings now move around, and let's have a look at those. So here are the top 10 in the series standings after round number 9. Of course, James Scott leading the charge at the moment on 2,890 points. And Corey Shepherd just behind there, a few hundred points behind. Andrew Dyson in third. Adam Briggs moves up a spot and moves into fourth position in the DPR Sim-Rigs entry. Tom Freer, unfortunately, moves back after that 14th place finish. Brian Borg back in sixth. Kyle Stokes in seventh. Damien Johnson in eighth and starting to make a bit of a charge in the back half of this championship. Jordan Ross back down to 9 now, and Brenton Hobson in 10. And that's your top 10, guys. Dan, what are some of the movers and shakers you can see?
Oh, look, it's just interesting to see, obviously, with the success rate that James Scott has been able to build up. He's only now still got a 300-point margin over himself and Corey. So those two, even though Corey has sort of played the bridesmaid quite a few times, really hasn't lost too much touch with the opportunity to stay up the front. The biggest thing is probably Synergy Sim-Racing now 5 cars up inside that top 10. They've pretty much locked out 7th through 10th position. It's all Synergy cars in there. And they're looking very, very strong. So it's going to be a hard charge for the guys above to hold those positions because they're definitely starting to find form. And after we spoke with Jordan last week, they've got a couple of weeks back, they've got those setups working very, very nicely in that car.
And Norrie, another one who's just a couple of spots up now, Neil Pearson. He had an impressive round this round.
Yeah, and that's the thing. All those Sim-Rigs DPR cars, like you look at the two Dyson and Briggs, they're right up there. You look at Pearson, they're sort of moving through and making a charge. So teammates helping each other there, both at the front and sort of midfield to progress the cars and get a bit further up.
Now, Thomas, how much of a difference does it make when you've got quite a number of people in your team and the amount of data that you can collect, especially with the changes that iRacing have made to the car setup?
It does help a lot, yeah. I used to, for a while there in the old car back in the old time of 2019, when I was running on my own under the Sim-Racing channel banner, because I raced under Sim-Racing channel for sort of GT stuff and then Henry James Racing for V8s and some other stuff too. So technically 2 teams. But when I was racing just under them, before I joined HJR, I was pretty much just going on my own, usually just lobbing VRS setups. And yeah, that was a lot harder to know what to do with setups, bounce off the feedback off people, know where I'm going wrong, etc. And obviously now with HR, it's helped a lot having Brett and a lot of the guys there, Kobe, a lot of the guys who do the setups to bounce off, and they're able to bounce off each other like, oh, let's try this, see what this does. And it definitely does help a lot having sort of more people there to help you and, with confidence and setup as well.
Well, you're not too far off the top 10, actually, because you're only missing out by about 90 points. So we just got to get you some qualifying rounds up there, and hopefully you can get some more top 10 finishes.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully this week I can put one in there and have a good result. I mean, obviously being a longer race too should help me out. Whenever it's longer race, gives me more time to get my race pace to carry me up a bit. So hopefully that can help me be a bit further up the field.
Yeah, we have a look down there. So Jamie Stovall in 11, Thomas Hinss in 12, Aaron Dodd 13th, Michael Talianchis in 14th. He's had an unfortunate run. Bailey Frid's had some really good races, guys. I mean, I do need to bring him up because unfortunately we see him yo-yo a little bit, don't we? He's super fast in some sections for, parts of the race, and just unfortunately might have an incident or come unstuck in a corner, but he's back in 15th now, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, all the pursuits and racing cars really, they've taken a little bit of time to get back in with the setups and get those cars back towards the front end, because they were very strong at the start of this championship season. As you say, Talianchich has fallen away just a fraction there now, and he's trying to settle in and get claw back into that top 10. But the other guys around him really starting to work their way up. Also, Brad Vaughan had another good run. He's starting to gain some points. Still down in 23rd position, but he's not that far behind a few of the guys just ahead.
Yeah, and that unfortunate power outage for Dylan Rudnori, that really, set him back this week when it comes to championship points.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes it just takes a round to not go your way and you fall. I mean, look at Tom Frere, was in 4th, now in 5th. Doesn't help for drivers at each end of the field. Yeah,
I look at the NSR Esports guys. I mean, they've had a couple of drivers, Aaron Dodd, sort of up in the top 10 here and there. And, unfortunately, Dylan Rudd, just an unfortunate run for those guys. But they seem to be – what I like is the new setup of the car. Thomas, you might be able to give us some feedback on this. But since they've changed the car and the tyre setup, we are seeing some of the other teams really just pull out some great race pace.
Yeah, well, I think it definitely is a lot easier on the limits. The main thing that I've noticed with it, I think they changed some stuff with the suspension as well. It works a bit better over curbing. It's a bit more consistent than it used to be. One of the big things was it was very inconsistent over curbing, and you'd have obviously the 2 wheels flipping thing going on, and that seems to be mostly fixed from what I can tell. But yeah, it's definitely the main thing is just on the limit. The car's a bit more predictable and a bit easier to drive on the limit, which I think's helping some people to get a bit more pace and be further up the field now, which is good to see.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and it just brings a lot more people into the mix when it comes down to those battles. But, as always, we do have Bowler Media and Sideways Photography grabbing all the action after the races and putting it out on social media. And check out some of the images we got this week, of course. That's a great one. I believe that's from the start with James Scott out there in the front. And then we got Norrie's teammates there, mate. Look, the number 02, ready to go.
Not in a fence. It's great, isn't it?
It's because you're not behind the wheel. Yeah, so great stuff coming out of Bowler Media and Sideways Photography. And, of course, the Coda Sim Sports boys we thought we put up there because I really do like that livery, the Penrite guys. They do a good job, Dan.
Yeah, they were in good form there. Unfortunately, didn't quite get the 2 cars side by side, but they look bloody good out there. And I think, too, that lighting that we saw last week for all the cars just made them pop that little bit better as well.
Yeah, plenty of people behind the scenes doing those liveries, and lots of work goes into that, we know. But another thing that people put a lot of time and effort into is the Show Us Your Rig segment. And this week, of course, Thomas Hinss, you actually sent me in a photo of your rig setup. And I love it because I'm the same. I've just got a desk at home. I strap the steering wheel to it. I strap whatever, the pedals go on the floor and everything. And I'm having a look at yours. It is like the classic desk setup. Run us through it.
Yeah, it is. A lot of that sort of a combo of funds and room. I don't really have enough of either to go the next level, I guess. But yeah, it's basically just obviously single screen, as you can see there. I think it's a Grand Prix office chair from a place in Shepparton from memory is where I got it. I just took the wheels off it because I used to have it on wheels, and with the old Logitech G27 I used to have, that was fine. But when I upgraded to this Fanatec stuff and load cells, it sort of was, it moved a bit. So I got rid of the wheels for just normal stops. But yeah, the wheel obviously is the Club Sport wheel. Formula rim. I've got the BMW rim as well. So I use this for most things, and the BMW rim for NASCAR, rallying, that kind of stuff. Got the load cell pedals. I've just blanked. I think it's the Club Sport ones. I think it's not the V2s or V3s. It's the one below that. I think it's the Club Sport. Totally blanked on what they are. But yeah, got load cells finally, which is a bit different after G27 pedals. Much better. The wheelbase is the V2.5 wheelbase. And yeah, that's really bad. I do have the sequential shifter as well, the sort of combined sequential H shifter too. And it's just on I think it's like a $60, if that, Next Level racing stand. I think it's the most basic one, the Next Level racing light. So that sits there where it is now in the photo. And then when I'm done with it, I just move it out of the way to use the computer normally. So yeah, real budget rig.
So how much do you really want to go and get a full standout rig if you had the room? What would be the one you'd go for?
Oh, it's a really good question. I've never really thought about it because it's never really quite been within reach with my funds at the moment. So it's always been like, yeah, one day I'll sort that. But I guess probably, VR. I don't know if I'd be into VR. I think I'd either like triples or an ultra wide, one of the two. And wheel wise, it's just DD of some sort, really. I think pedals, I'd like the Husqvarna pedals because I know Jimmy Broadbent's used them for a while, and I've been a sort of part of his community for many years now, and he's always said that they're fantastic, so I'd probably go them for pedals. I'm not really sure for wheel, though. Maybe stick with something Fanatec, maybe one of the DDs would probably do okay, but having spent most of my time racing on a G27 for a long time, I kind of got used to just how that was, so yeah, anything above like direct drive just in general, I'd be like, oh my God, this is incredible. So really anything would do for me on that.
All right. Well, we are going to Hockenheim, Germany. We've already touched on that earlier for round number 10, of course, 300-kilometre race 185. Let's check it out now. So this week we go back to the single driver endurance, 300 kilometres getting around Hockenheim, and it all starts at 8:40 p.m. is where the broadcast will start for qualifying, and then we move on to our race at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Dan, run us through the setup for this one.
Yeah, Hockenheim, very classic circuit. It has changed a lot over the years from Formula One days to what it is now, but still a very tricky course. 4.5 kilometres in length, or 2.8 miles, 16 turns for all the drivers to get through. Quite a few opportunities for some big braking zones, big sweep down through turn one, Nord's curve. Going to be interesting to see. The guys can use a lot of curb out wide and have a good run up in towards turn two. And if you get overtaken, you do have a chance, though, for the crisscross to come back down before you get out of there and try and get the traction down, set yourself up for the long run down through Parabolica up towards the hairpin, turn 6. The hairpin, though, very wide on entry. Expect to see some 2 and 3 wide opportunities for these guys getting down there, but pulling it up is going to be key. If you can get the car stopped, turned and rotated, and then get the drive out, you set yourself up for a very good run up through the quick 7 kink up in towards Mercedes turn 8. Does give you an opportunity for the guys, if they do lose a spot, to try and slingshot around that outside of 6 to try and regain those spots. However, from the turn 8, quick left, right through turns 9 and 10, down towards Mobile 1, turn 11, before we get into the stadium, effectively, of Hockenheim. You have a quick blast through there, up towards turn 12, Stacks Corner. And you got to be cautious on the outside. It's very shallow gradient on the corner apex there, so you can still drift the car out a little wide, but still tricky to get the power down. 13, 14 over the crest and flow it down in towards turn 15. Very tricky to get it right, but you can carry a good bit of speed, set yourself for a run up through 16, and then get back around for complete the lap.
And Norrie, we're going to get, about 20, 22 laps out of a tank on this one. So what's the pit stop strategy?
Yeah, 22 laps to a tank, and being the endurance race, you can then just stop twice. And it's basically fill it up and send it, tyres, fuel, and watch your pit entry and pit exit, because coming out of turn 1 and coming into the final corner, the pit entry is a bit difficult on the offside of the road. So you're going to have to get from pit exit to turn 2 pretty swiftly.
So, Thomas, how many laps have you done around here? Any at all?
In the supercar, zilch. So the only thing I've really driven around here so far is GT3. So it'll be a little bit different. So I guess faster in the straights, but less grip. So yeah, sort of not really similar at all. But yeah, that was at least a little bit of a guide to the track. But we'll see if I do laps tomorrow or not. I'm not sure.
I mean, knowing you've driven a GT3 around here, where are going to be some of the hardest braking points for you?
Obviously the hairpin will be the big one. Turn 2 probably as well. That's a pretty heavy braking zone, and going to be easy for people to mess up there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of people going deep there, because I think it's a bit deceptive. You can go in there pretty deep very easily. So so there's that. I think it was turn 8 there as well, in the middle of the track after the kink. That's a bit of a harder braking zone that, again, you can have a bit of a go there. So there'll be sort of keys. And obviously into the stadium section, turn 12 is very easy, as we saw a world champion, Seb Vettel, do. I think it was 2020, wasn't it? Or 19, it was 2020. Very easy to go too deep and stuff that one up. So we'll have to watch out for that.
Well, gents, with all these sort of hard braking corners, and they're going to be the hairpin, and some of them go more than 90 degrees around, how hard is it going to be for people to pull up, try and do that move in the early parts? How important will it be, should I say, for qualifying to get out the front so you're not caught up in that mid-pack?
I think for this one, it's probably not going to matter too much. It is 300 Ks, as you say. It's a one-driver enduro, so you've got plenty of time to try and recover that. Expecting we're going to see a safety car, unlike Sebring last time out. We should see one, especially on that run into 6, as we were saying. But the setup mentality for this circuit's going to be completely thrown on its head to what we saw last time out at Sebring, though, with the smoothness of the circuit and then trying to get the grip and power down.
So you touched on it, Dan, but Norrie, you won the bet last week. Safety car, no safety car?
There will be a safety car this week. I can almost guarantee it. It's one of those things.
Even though you're not racing?
Yes. Yeah. It's like you think I can't do it or something.
Oh, we just know you brought the safety car out at Watkins Glen, so we thought maybe you were back in your bet and you were getting back in the car this week. That's all.
No, I long for my return to the safety car, I swear.
Thomas, safety car or no safety car?
Yeah, I think there'll be a safety car for sure. 1, maybe even 2. We'll see. Depends how chaotic that first lap is.
And Dan, you've already said it. You're expecting one?
Yeah, I reckon we'll get 2 out there this time.
Yeah, I'm going to go double or nothing. I'm going to put down 2 safety cars as well. So it's going to be an interesting one. Like you say, 4.5 kilometres. What have we got? 65 laps, 300 Ks, but so much time for you to rebound if something does go wrong. And we have seen that, especially if we get a safety car. Maybe you're going to get that wave around and get back on the lead lap. So we come in this week. Practice starts 7 p.m. So get on nice and early, get plenty of practice in. Thomas, thanks very much for joining us on the show this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll see you guys for an interview after Friday. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Hopefully I can qualify well enough for that, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
No, it's all about that qualifying for you, and I reckon we will see you on a podium once again. Dan, Norrie, anything else to say?
Well, the one thing we do need to touch on too, daylight savings has changed. So for any of the guys in New South Wales, double check your times before service starts.
Yes, very important. Norrie, anything left?
I'm just going to go set my watch now. This is embarrassing.
Oh, don't forget, if you haven't already, get to the YouTube channel AOSC TV, like and subscribe to that one. Get the thumbs up. And it is 8:40 where the broadcast will start, 8:40 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. the race gets underway. It's Friday the 9th of April, race 185 from Hockenheim in Germany. Can't wait to see you there. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll speak to you soon.